Radio fans, we are now back in the studio. Stand by for your station announcement. And away we go!
Now, I know you'd love to just sit there and keep being not slim, but we got to work a little today, okay?
Broadcasting channels of the entire world will be cleared. In every continent, in every land, in all the four corners of the earth, the whole world over. Men, and women, and children, of every age and race, and nationality, station, and color. Men of every language ready now to listen to the same voice.
1, 2, is this on?
Finally, a way to combine my love of helping people with my love of hurting people.
So sit back, pop open a cold bottle of Brazilian mineral water, enjoy some poached salmon with capers, and adjust the satellite, because we have a great show.
And there was much rejoicing.
Unleash the fury.
Unleash the fury!
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's Erik Nagel. That is me. To my right over there is Matt O.G.
Hello.
And back in the upside down is our pal Gittles.
Hello. Always sound like a ghost.
He always sounds like one of the ghosts of Christmas past, present, or future.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the program. It's been a weird couple of weeks getting into 2018 here because, everybody's holiday schedule. And then, we had that big the first round for January of snow and ice and freezing Arctic temperatures hitting this area. So, Matt had to join us at a different time because, like everybody, we were racing to get all our Christmas stuff out of the ground because otherwise it's going to be landlocked till April.
I still have stuff that I actually could not get out of the ground.
You know what I
frozen.
have in the ground? Yep. All the stuff that had pegs.
Yeah,
to hold
the pegs
in there.
are in the ground.
I dismantled everything else, but the pegs are in the ground. I said they can wait till spring.
Yep, I have the same problem.
Yeah.
Like my candy canes that line my walkway.
That's exactly what I have in the front. And I was like, well, you know what? I can just pull the lights through the little fork thing there, and that's going to. I'll pull them out when the bulbs show up.
That's it.
Yeah, seriously.
So schedules have been a little different. You weren't here for when Gittles and I talked to Christy. It was great having her back. Little teaser. In about 2 weeks, another old person from the show is going to be returning.
Ooh.
So we will leave it at there for now.
Fancy schmancy.
You can speculate. There's only 2 more people left.
I was going to say.
So you can figure out who it is. So that was going on. So, all our schedules were a little bit in an array of chaos. And last week, we didn't do a show, and only because of the fact that Matt was booked for the show.
Right.
Gittles was booked for the show. Our old pal Randy from NECA Toys was coming by to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. He's featured in the Netflix special, The Toys That Made Us.
Correct.
Yep. So we wanted to talk about that and some of the new stuff that NECA has coming for the year. And our other pal, Chris Ramo, who does all the artwork for the show, works for NECA as well. He has that book out, which I love. Yep. Did you get a copy of that?
Spooky Things. I didn't. I missed the Kickstarter.
Okay.
And I was going to buy it over the holidays, and then it fell off my radar. I need to just plunk down the money and
I got it off the Kickstarter there, and he wants to come in and talk about the book. And he has another project that's coming up.
I saw. It's like it's another book, isn't it?
Another
children's book.
He's got a calendar. He's got a few other things coming. So when he reschedules, he'll come back in here. They were supposed to be here. They all had the flu.
Right.
You guys all had the flu.
Oh, it was awful.
Oh, yeah,
it was horrific. And the fun thing with this is that all 4 of you did not interact with each other during the week in order to I got it off this guy or whatever. All different worlds. Randy has family and kids, and once the kids get it, the adults get it, and what have you. Same thing with Chris. Gittles just goes out and
he cavorts.
Well, he does bum fights for money in the alleys of Brooklyn.
No, I do it for sandwiches.
He does it for sandwiches and
Sammys, as the kids call them.
And so he got it that way.
Right.
And I don't know if you got it through work or you have a child as well.
I probably got it through work, to be honest with you, because I was the only one that got it last week.
Right.
So Funko in my home.
I was the only person at my job that had it last week, and I think for me it was I've been working locally, and I took a freelance job in the city, so it was like my first time like taking the subway again and like interacting with people.
Right.
And it was like after we came out of that deep freeze, and I think everyone came out of their house with just like these super flu germs. It was just everywhere.
Yeah, it's been bad.
It was just incubating in everyone's house.
So that kind of sidelined all of you guys.
Right.
And it just happened to work out scheduling that I had the latest edition of the Radio Inquisition ready to go. I said, you know what? Let's just give it a rest, and I'll put the other special out, which I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to or not, but the new Radio Inquisition episodes in the series here is Mike O'Mara, one half of the Don and Mike show, very infamous syndicated show, legends in the DC market for like 30-something years. And, he's had interactions with Howard, with Opie and Anthony when they were syndicated in New York and what have you. And I went down to his show, his studios down in DC, got a chance to talk to him. Great guy. And part 1 went up. Part 2 is going to go up very soon to coincide with this new episode that's going up there. But that's available, and then more episodes are coming soon. So I was like, all right, we'll put the new Radio Inquisition up in lieu of the show here. And then, so I'm like, oh, everyone's got the flu. It's that time of year. But then it shows up on the news. And it's not like, flu epidemic hitting the nation, where they always say, there's a lot, are they going to run out of flu shots in time, which they don't. But this story was a little different. It wasn't flu. I think it was NBC Nightly News. It was not flu epidemic. It was influenza crisis or something like that, where they had enough shots, but apparently the flu shot was not for anything that's out right now, whatever the strain is or strains.
Right. So
for the flu,
they gamble each year.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Steve told us many times that it's always it's a prediction.
Sure.
They can't make the flu shot for when the flu is available, because you'll never get it done in time for the amounts that they have to make. So they have to estimate based on whatever research they have what might be what's
going to be the strain that
the problem strains going into the next year. So they hope that when they make all the flu shots, that we hope this does the trick. And another thing too is certain places where you can get free flu shots or shots that that take your insurance. You can get it. I mean, you can get it in a Target and a Walmart nowadays while you're shopping. Some places do 3 strands. Some places do 4. I didn't know that until about 2 years ago. So instead of going to the doctor, I know Target always has more strains to in the flu shot there. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Target to get my flu shot.
Go to Target, not Earl's House of Flu Shots.
Right. And I have my red card. I get 5% off. And so far, knock on wood, I've been okay.
The company that
they said the
work
strain
for
this year is only like 30% effective too. So it's like you have like a less than 50% chance of it working. So it's.
I think also, if you want to call it luck, that I'm not working right now, so I'm not in a corporate office where people will be passing it along.
Sure.
And getting that. But everybody's back here. Randy's going to probably be here next week.
Huzzah.
He wants to do that. I wrote to him and I said, it's okay. I know you abandoned us like everyone else because we're not on satellite anymore. And he laughed and he said, no, he has a reputation to uphold about being the most recurring guest on the program. And I said, it's going to cost you. So he's better open up some of those the
NECA vaults?
The NECA vaults and fill a couple of those bins and bring them over here and make good for all of that. And then Chris is going to see when he can come back on the program as well.
He's going to sell you the 15th generation He-Man toy where it's like Spitty Guy, like from that special.
Yeah. It's like, that one special where they had the He-Man that looks just like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And nobody at Mattel knew where it was made, why it was made, or for what promotion. And they debunked, like, this was a giveaway for whatever. Marvel goes, no, we have no records of dealing with a cereal box or whatever to give this thing away. So somebody must have just made it.
That's it.
And somehow it showed up in a warehouse and somebody made a story up about it.
Yeah. It's like those action figure sets you see at the kiosks in the mall, and it just says heroes, and it's like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Peter Quill because Guardians is big now, and then it's like Shrek and a firefighter. It's like the most random
and a
shit.
toy ladder.
Yeah, he's like, what? All right.
I got shoe.
Yay!
So
So
There's
yeah,
all that going on. How you guys been though? I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you guys. What's been going on in the personal lives?
Well, geek stuff is going on. Of course, I saw
your
Last
Patreon's
Jedi.
doing well.
It is. It's doing very well. It's man. We're over $100 a month, I think, in pledges now. So
Not
I'm
bad.
pretty excited.
Awesome.
Which means that we're releasing one bit of additional content every week now. So now, if you're a patron, you get at the $5 level, you get the show every week, and you get one extra.
Let's clarify. It's not you're getting the show every week because you can get the show every week. You're getting the show early.
You get the show early every week.
That's the key point of paying for that.
In addition, you're getting one bit of bonus content every week as well. So you're getting 2 things a week from us.
So you're getting a show early and you're getting bonus content
Correct.
with the Patreon feed.
Correct.
But now because you hit this threshold, aren't you doing 2?
Yeah, so we were doing 2 vintage, 1 vintage episode and 2,
which I think is great because if you like our show or if you're a Geek Stuff fan or if you never even got a chance to listen to Geek Stuff, it's a great chance for you to go back and hear their bonus content is the first show they did. They're starting from day 1 and working their way up. And your show's been on how long? 11 years?
No, it's almost 13.
13 years.
Yeah.
So you're going to get where they started in the old house to when there's the satellite run at SiriusXM is going to eventually show up somewhere in there.
XM, then Sirius XM.
Yeah. So
all that's in there. Plus, the fun part about the old episodes is going back, because I've been listening to them as I post them, because I want to make sure that everything's okay. But it's going back and listen to all the things we predicted or ridiculed that then came to fruition. Like listening to us trash Heath Ledger being tossed around as the Joker, like stuff like that. It's funny to.
Do you guys come off
to.
as ridiculous, or are you pretty on point?
No, I mean some of the things we were grossly off on, some of the things we were on, but it's kind of the fun, and we've created a community where we could talk about those vintage episodes and poke fun at ourselves. It's a lot of fun.
I want to go back and listen to the episodes right before the MCU launch to see all your guys' predictions for the future, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, one of the predictions was Big Kev insisted for weeks on end that Thor was never actually going to make it into the theaters. He said that he would not believe Thor was going to be a movie until he actually saw it on a screen in a theater. And here we are now. Thor 3 just came out.
Thor
a couple
3,
weeks ago.
and they're great movies.
So there you go. So, but it's fun and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, we're releasing, some, like we did a video this month that was all new. We've got 2 vintage episodes, and then we have a bonus thing coming up next week, which I am really excited to release, but I don't want to say what it is just yet. I'll tell you guys later.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be ridiculous and a lot of fun.
Is it original new content, or is it like repurposing?
No. 2 things every month are original, brand new content. So
great.
one of the things this month was a video. It was an unboxing video, but it was like 15 minutes of us shooting the shit and unboxing toys. And
it doesn't.
Yeah, it was fun.
We're going to do an unboxing in a second here because you brought that up. But people love that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was Rick and Morty toys. So it was all Rick and Morty talk.
Did you go shopping with me?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, we did the Funko mystery minis. We had 2 cases of them to go through.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good. So, no, Patreon is doing very well. I'm very grateful for that. And then I went and saw Last Jedi a second time as well in the last couple
we covered
weeks,
a lot of Last Jedi. Yeah. So unless there's anything new, I think we can just let that lie. Go back to an episode or 2 ago where Matt has his run-ins with the Star Wars fan base. Because apparently, we all know Matt tends to talk out of both sides of his mouth.
That's it.
And we know he's a poser when it comes to the Star Wars universe.
Lying scumbag.
Buying those $7 shirts at Target doesn't mean you're a diehard fan.
Right.
Yeah, especially the Darth Vader one.
Yeah.
They're $7 because they're odd sizes. The print is kind of crooked. Yeah.
It says Chewie and he's eating a granola bar. I don't know about that.
Charleston Chewie.
Hello.
Yeah.
And
so anyway,
you can find that all stuff there. But otherwise, everything's going good.
Yeah, everything's going good.
Good. Giddles, how you doing?
I'm all right, just as we said, the flu took me down for a week, so I just sat in bed Netflixing and playing video games and didn't really do too much other than sit around and hope I don't die. So it was pretty good.
All right.
Well, in the next segment, we'll talk about video games and Netflix stuff because we have a bunch of updates and things that we've seen. So I'm curious to see what Giddles was actually watching while he was he was suffering from the fever. He's like
the fever pitch.
It'll be great if he's describing this movie that didn't exist.
Yeah. Like that's not actually a movie, Giddles. It was a dream.
Yeah, I saw Shazam with Sinbad. Was that
the Mandela effect in full effect?
Yeah, I saw that one every week. It was great.
Awesome. Before we get into some other stuff, since you brought up unboxing, I did a little shopping, and I want to show you some things. First off,
where's Eric? I don't see him on this camera.
Yeah, it's because it's on Giddles right now. It's on Matt right now.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll turn for a little bit so you can see. We're still getting the cameras put in and everything here, so I don't have the automated stuff moving stuff around yet here.
Let's see the unboxing.
Well, we're getting there, but the first thing was this. A while ago, you know how I buy custom T-shirts as far as fan art goes.
Sure.
You know, unique shirts that show up on like T-Fury or when Shirt Punch. Well, Shirt Punch is back now, but when like on Shirt Punch and sites of that nature, where you'd see cool independent fan work. Like, wow, that's an awesome shirt of interpretation of whatever you're a fan of. There's artists out there that make really great work. So this one shirt I saw was a Doctor Who Rick and Morty crossover.
Oh, nice.
So it's Morty standing there as Rick's coming halfway out of the portal with his portal gun pointed.
Right.
And then to the side is Clara standing there with the Doctor coming out of the TARDIS with his sonic screwdriver. So it's a company called, and I'm not saying this to plug them. I have a big problem with them. It's a company called Wanted Tees.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I see those guys all over Facebook.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this art looks great. So it was fairly inexpensive. I purchased it, and it took a little while, but it came. Now, usually when you get shirts like this, the biggest concern that you should have is when you open the package, those shirts smell.
Right.
They're very, from the pressing and the chemicals and whatever. So all you do is you take those shirts, you don't wear them right away, you throw them in the wash. You got to give them a wash before you can wear it. And then once you wash it, it softens up the material, cleans all the residue chemicals off there, and you're good to go. So the shirt comes, and based on what I described, it looks like somebody put the blur effect on a Photoshop.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
Oh, geez.
The art is great, but
oh yeah,
but
it's
the
blurry.
quality is horseshit.
Yeah, it is utter horseshit, right?
Yeah.
So I write to their company. I find the billing department and whatever, and I said, "Hello, here's my order number. I'm kind of mad. This is horrible. Nobody quality checks your merchandise or whatever." I said, "I want a refund on this, and I want to send the shirt back." No response.
Right.
Then a couple days later, I get a notice saying that my order is being shipped. I was like, I didn't order anything. So I go and I look through the email. They decided to send me another shirt.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Can't get mad. They probably are sending me the replacement. Fine. That's great.
Yeah, maybe
I wanted
it was just
the shirt.
a printing error or something.
Yeah.
And there it is. Yeah.
So a second shirt comes, and I open it up, and I look. And look how bad that one is.
I mean, it's slightly better, maybe.
But
barely.
You know
better.
what this is? The first one was when somebody saved a photo with the blur effect on it. This was somebody taking a photo that was blurry and then cranking the sharpening feature up to like 500%. To try to sharpen it when it was already blurry.
Yeah, I mean it's still utter garbage.
You know what it is? I think they probably don't have a lot of these shirts made, and they probably get an order in and then just print it up on an as is order thing.
And that does happen, and I've never had a problem with that. So because sometimes like you purchase a shirt and they'll say, well, it's going to take 3 weeks because we got to do the run of sales, and then we print to order, but they disclaim that. Front and center on the website,
and you almost
you see it again
that with those sites,
right? And you see it again when you go to check out. It's just so you know, this is what we do. And then when you go to confirm, you sure you want to confirm? Your shirt's not going to be available till such and such time. Okay, great. So both of these shirts were horrific.
Yeah.
I wrote back to them and I said, I appreciate you trying to send me a replacement, but the replacement is just as bad as the original. I want to send both of these back. I want a refund on my money.
Right.
Never responded. This was November.
Yeah.
And I've been on top of them ever since. Nobody at that fucking company will respond to this.
Did you take them to task on social media yet?
Not yet, but I'm going to.
Because that's what I would have done like day 2.
But I wanted to do it here first. So now that I put it out there, I'll post it on IHeartRadio and it's Erik Nagel on Twitter and stuff, and the Facebook, where you can see how horrific these things are. And
is this the same company that was doing those like shitty, ugly sweaters where it was kind of like a thermal shirt with and it was just like a printed on like design?
No, there's so many companies that were doing that.
I was going to say there's so many companies now. It's hard to keep track of them.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem. So Wanted Tees can go fuck themselves because I really tried and did everything possible.
Of course.
And I gave them the benefit of the doubt when I saw the email saying that your order's coming. I was like, all right, cool. They're doing the right thing. They're going to replace it. And the replacement was they probably just put in an order, have a box in their warehouse somewhere, don't even look at it. Somebody in the warehouse grabs it, throws it in the Mylar thing.
That's exactly what it is.
And nobody quality controls their product.
I'm doing a real quick Google search on to see if there's like a review online or anything of that.
All right, well, if you come up with anything, let me know. So the second thing is this. This just came out. I happened to see it. Somebody had posted that these were now available, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go and get this thing.
Okay.
So if you listen to this show, we've been Funko supporters since day one of this show. Not just the Pops, but even all the other divisions that have come out, the Dorbs, the Vinyl, everything Funko comes out are quality products. And in some shape or form, all of us here have been collectors of these products. So that being said, when a new Funko thing comes out, I'm keen to look to see what it is. If it's catering not a genre, but a property, a franchise, something that I'm interested in. And this happened to be the case. So I ran over and I picked up this.
I saw that was coming out. It's pretty cool.
That's
it's a nice
awesome.
piece.
Is it? So what it is the Funko Pops, when they do the bigger ones, the rides, like the other one I have, maybe I don't have
The
it.
rides are usually Dorbs. The ride subset are normally Dorbs. These are just like large Funkos.
Oh, because I'm like Deadpool on the chimichanga truck.
Right, that's not a ride.
That's not a ride?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, this is Pop Rides.
Yeah.
So, okay, then I got it all wrong there. But Funko does, for the Pop line, does bigger vehicles.
Sure.
Where you had, when the female Ghostbusters came out, where they had the Ecto-1 with one of the characters.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Star Wars ones.
There's one. There's a bunch of it. So this came out.
I have Luke on a Tauntaun.
It's Angry Rick flying their spaceship.
Yeah, let me see.
Their makeshift spaceship.
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
I want that. That's really cool.
That's a great piece.
If you want, you can take it out.
Yeah.
I'm not saving the box.
No, I might actually go to Hot Topic
It's now
tomorrow.
worthless.
I might go to Hot Topic tomorrow and try to grab one.
All right. So, we should just take it out. And this will be better once we have the video element that's coming, but for now. There we go.
I want it for my desk at work. Does it have wheels on the bottom?
They don't move.
Oh, I thought they moved. I was like, that's fucking amazing.
I think the wheels are there just to keep it
to kind of give it support.
Keep it mobile so it doesn't tip over. But yeah, it's a single person one. It wasn't big enough. They didn't make it for because the Pops have big heads.
Yeah, they didn't make it for Rick and Morty.
So you could put a Rick and Morty in there. Correct. It's just Rick. It's a one person version of the spaceship.
That's great though. It's a cool looking piece.
It is a very cool looking piece. I think it's like $30.
Schleemies, Glordo. I'm just looking at his
and like $30 is like on the high end of like Funko prices.
Yeah.
Too,
and
that's not even that bad.
No, not at all. So
that's really cool.
So yeah. So
do the wheels work?
No, that's what I said. I was really excited. I thought they worked.
No,
I wanted to just push it around.
It's just there to keep it mobile.
But still, it's a great looking piece.
And keep it from tipping over there. Yeah. So it's a very great piece. I thought I had something else. Maybe I don't. Okay, I guess it was just those things. And I thought, yes, I did.
Funko Pop.
I have one more purchase that I made. It's not here yet.
Oh, okay.
But hopefully I'll have it by next week and can give you a review. So for the last few weeks, I've been having a problem with sleeping, and it's not like I have no excuse for it or reason for it. If I had a reason for it, I'd try to work it and try to figure out why I'm not sleeping. But I sleep in shifts, but I can't sleep more than 2 hours at a time anymore.
Oh, that's weird.
So
that would drive me batty.
I know Giddles and I had talked about it, and he said, well, are you still having caffeine at night? And I said, I'm not 90.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, that's a real issue.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So I thought about
It'll take caffeine like 6 to 8 hours to like metabolize in your body until you process it all out. So like I usually tend to not have coffee after like 3 or 4 o'clock unless I know that I can fall asleep later. Otherwise I'll be up all night.
Yeah.
I always just thought it was some made up bullshit excuse that old people said when something's going wrong. Oh, I had too much caffeine. Like you didn't really buy it.
Yeah.
But so I was like, maybe I should curb it a little bit. But I'm having these sleeping issues.
Because you're a fan of the iced tea. I know that.
The unsweetened iced tea with lemon, yeah. So I was having problems, and my sleep schedule's all fucked up because I'm up at all hours of the day now.
Right.
Like there's times where you've written me, where Matt used to write me in the morning is because I'd be up going to the morning show and you'd be up to go to the gym and then go to work before your kid goes to school. So we were on the same schedule. And then it became when we went to afternoons, Matt would write me in the morning so that he put it out there so he wouldn't forget. And then when I woke up, I would respond to him. Now it's back to I'm responding to Matt when he's up in the morning, but I just finished playing a video game.
Right, you haven't got to bed yet.
Or I just finished a movie. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed now. And I even tried course correcting. I tried going to bed at a decent time, but I'd sleep. Like I went to bed at 9 o'clock one night and I woke up at 11:30. It's always around the 2 to 2.5 hour gap. And I'm like, why can't I stay asleep? So I'd get up. It's like, I'll go do something, watch TV, try to exhaust myself a little bit, go back to bed. Next thing I know, it's 5 a.m. again. So I go back to sleep and then I sleep for a couple hours and I'm back. It's constantly 2 to 3 hours in that window nonstop.
That's insane. That would drive me
It drives me nuts. So I went a route that I didn't think would work. And I thought might be kind of novelty, but I talked to some real life people who had it, and they swear by it. So I know some people out there are saying, do you know about ZQL? Yes, I've tried ZQL. It doesn't help.
I told you that. I was like, try the ZQL.
Yes. Giddles is one of many people who've said try ZQL.
I use the Unisom sometimes.
What is that?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's a sleep aid.
Other people say just take a shot of something.
Yeah.
You know,
shot of whiskey.
When you know you're going to go to bed within an hour, have a shot of whiskey or something strong. One of the brown ales.
That's it.
And that I'm not into that, but I'll try it as a last case resort. But people were telling me about this, and I thought about it, and I went on their website and looked at it, did some research and what have you, and I was like, you know what? It costs a little bit much, but I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to try it out. So I ordered a gravity blanket.
Oh, is that's the thing that like it just weighs a ton and it just
weighs a ton. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, I can't really believe that this does a lot. And I see the videos, but again, you're paying actors to enjoy the blanket. But then I'm reading the research on the research. They provide links off their website. And I'm thinking about it. And I was like, when you go to the dentist and they put the big iron
to take the X-rays,
the lead apron
bib
on you, the lead apron on you, the lead bib is.
That's what it is. It's a giant lead bib.
I think that's the name of the episode here. I'm writing that.
The lead bib.
The lead bib. All right. Well,
Dude, they just like throw that on you. The guy comes in, he's like, "Here, put this over your balls."
So they put it on top of you when you know you got to get X-rays done, but they put it on top of you. Then they go out of the room because they have to go calibrate the machine,
and they have to get out of the way of the X-rays.
And it's always scary too. It's like they're leaving the room to take the X-ray. It's like, what are you doing to me? What are you exposing to me?
But not only that, you're like, this blanket's only covering like a foot of my body. Like, what about the rest of my body?
It only is covering your internal organs and your nuts. That's it.
Yeah, it's not covering my face. My brain's an internal organ,
so
isn't
it? I can digest food and I can procreate and urinate correctly, but I may not have legs and arms.
Yeah. And 2 + 2 is now 8.
Yes.
So.
That's up there with lead bib. So, but I thought about it. I was like, when you put the lead bib on, it's rather comforting because it's weighing down on you, and you sit there and like it is kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
So that popped into mind. I said, you know what? I'm going to try this thing.
I'm sure part of the reason it relaxes you, keeps you from squirming about.
Yeah. So basically what the theory behind the blanket is that it's a certain percentage of your body weight that you put on you that is, I guess they said, has been proven in sleep studies and whatever to help you fall asleep easy.
Yeah.
Right? So I happened to be looking all this stuff up for a while. And then here's where it gets weird. So again, up in the middle of the night, have nothing to do. I see Anthony Cumia streaming video games.
Right.
So I see it on Twitter. I go to the thing, and there he is. He's playing Battlefield Earth or something, right? And he's enjoying himself and whatever. And at one point,
Battlefield Earth, that was the shitty movie with John Travolta.
That was the Scientology movie.
What's the
Battlefront or
Battlefront?
Battlefront.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the Star Wars one, right?
Well, there's Star Wars Battlefront, but there's also just
like
Battlefront.
The World War II
No, there's also
one.
just Battlefront.
Okay,
it's just not Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, regular
right?
Battlefront, like 1942.
He's running around as a medic and he's sniping people.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's one of the war games.
Yeah.
So he, during one of his respawn periods or whatever they're doing with the game, he points out to somebody. He's like, "Oh, that's a gravity blanket." I'm like, "What?" And he says, "He's like, I guarantee you try wearing that." And he's like, "You're out in minutes."
Yeah.
I was like, well, all that scientific research and everything else I was looking at, I was kind of on the fence. But because it's, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm kind of delirious. And Anthony had one and said, "Oh, this is great." I pulled the trigger and I bought a gravity blanket. So it should be here by hopefully next week.
Yeah.
So I'll try it out to see if it works. And I'll even bring it down to the studio so you can try it while we're doing the show. You know how great that would be if Matt puts it on and he falls asleep while we're doing the show?
I'd be comfortable as hell. No, I use my meditation app that I use has like a deep sleep relaxation thing. Yeah. And you lay in bed on your back and it goes through like muscle relaxing. Tense the muscles in your feet and toes, release, tense the muscle in your calves, release. And it's a 10-minute thing. I've never actually made it to the end of the 10 minutes awake.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I fall asleep every single time like a baby. It's amazing.
What's the name of the app that you use?
Calm is the name of the app.
Because the old app I used to use was called Pizizz? P-Z-I-Z-Z.
Oh, okay.
And
Pizzas?
I heard about it because Chris Hardwick talked about it on one of his podcasts, so I tried it out. But that does help. It's this weird new age music that you would hear like in a spa. Or a nail salon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird trance style music, and then this British woman comes on.
Oh yeah,
and
she's talking to you all soothing. Oh yeah, it's great.
And then it runs a cycle.
Yeah.
But you're already passed out, so it runs its cycle and it turns itself off, and you're good to go.
Oh, I use it almost every night. I love it.
Start using that again because I go to bed with headphones on, listening to a podcast.
See, I can't do headphones, so I just put it next to the bed, and it's just that I'm just out.
And that doesn't bother your wife?
Nah.
Well, good for her.
Probably knocks her out.
You married
too.
a good one, Matt.
Yeah, it knocks her out too.
So yeah, when the gravity blanket comes in, I will definitely bring that in here for you guys to try and see if you like it, or if it actually helps me with what I'm doing here. Let's get into some other topics. I know there was a bunch of stuff you wanted to pull out. Real quick, I wanted to touch on CES, where a couple of weeks ago, Giddles and I were talking about Black Mirror and the crocodile episode,
right? Where
part of the story was this insurance adjuster or insurance agent was trying to piece together the happenings of a guy who got hit.
This is season 4?
Season 4.
Okay.
A guy who got hit by this automated vehicle that makes deliveries. There's no humans in it. It works on its own.
Yeah.
And it was a pizza truck, right? Giddles?
Yep.
All right. So Giddles was like, I need this pizza truck in my life, because you call and do the order. the truck shows up at your residence or wherever. You walk out, it opens up like the Amazon drop-off points, and you take the hot pie right out of the vehicle, and then it closes down and moves on.
It's brilliant.
Right? So I was like, we were like, that would be amazing. So then CES happens, and Toyota announces the exact vehicle.
That's it. I'm done.
So I was like, okay, so obviously the writers of Black Mirror, they're not just saying all this, they're not writing based on what can be obvious. Their guys know inside information, or they've seen articles and stuff about,
I'm sure,
specs and other prospects and theoretical technology that could come down the line. That's how they use to write. So the fact that episode comes out and then Toyota announces the vehicle at CES was like mind blowing to everybody. Like, oh my God, just like in the show. And I'm like, I was dumb enough too. I was like, oh my God, just like in the show. Oh, they knew about it. They knew this was coming. They worked it into the show. All right, I got caught up at it.
I mean, you don't really know. I mean, that stuff can go all the way back to like the 1800s if you read Popular Science magazine and all those things where it's like people riding flying bikes and like delivering food to windows. Like, I don't think that's necessarily like they got the inside tip. I think that's a very predictable thing.
I just picture like Fifth Element, where they go to the isn't it like a floating diner? Like they pull up outside of the floating diner and get their food.
I mean, in
order?
Total Recall, they have like, the Johnny cabs, which are just, like the robot cabs that drive you everywhere. Like, I don't think it's that far-fetched, to be honest. I think it could just very well just be a
parallel thinking.
just happens, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So what else came out of CES? Anything else fun and or exciting?
There was that, and then there's this futuristic fridge.
Okay.
That it's if you could turn your Amazon Echo into your refrigerator, that's what it does. Where you can talk to the fridge, it can reorder stuff like Amazon can, but it also has cameras inside of the fridge, so you can see without opening what's in your refrigerator, and it also keeps tabs of what you register products
in there. It's an inventory system.
It does. It knows when you're down on stuff or when you're out of stuff.
I'm almost out of ketchup,
or when your stuff is expiring.
That's
so
creepy.
it'll give you a notice like, hey, that ham that you cooked the other day, you got about a day left on this before you got to throw it out. So that's what this fridge is all about. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But it's also, like you said, as cool as technology gets, you got to start thinking more logically nowadays. Where like, should this be made?
Hey, listen, you know who predicted all of this shit that we're talking about right now? Walt Disney. I'm pretty sure I saw all of these things.
In like the World of Tomorrow?
Yeah, on Spaceship Earth.
Or the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, I think I've seen all of these inventions at Disney World over the course of my 40 years on this planet.
Now is the best. Oh, by the way, did you know? I love the Carousel of Progress.
It's one of my favorite rides ever.
So real quick on this, I actually fell down a YouTube hole about the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
So it was they used it for one of the World's Fair.
Correct.
Right?
The one in New York, I think.
And then they brought it to Disneyland in California, where it was a feature there for a while until they got Disney World up and running. Then they closed it down from Disneyland, moved it to Orlando for Disney World. Now, apparently the original sponsor to it was General Electric.
Correct.
And the theme song that they would sing as the thing would spin around, it's really their stationary, the audience is moving around on the track, where the song was, it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Until I think it says like 72, and then there's like a 5-year, 6-year gap in the 70s. No, sorry. They changed it in 72. In the 80s, I think like 86, 87, GE pulled out their sponsorship.
Right.
So then it became the Walt Disney Carousel of Progress.
Right.
They didn't want to get another sponsor in there because with GE, they were limited on what they could show past and present because they weren't GE products.
Right.
So there's things that were there in the 30s and the 40s, 50s, but they weren't part of the GE company, so they didn't show it to you. So by not having the sponsor, they could open all that up. And in the 80s, GE pulls out. They had changed the song from Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow to Now Is the Best Time of Your Life.
Right.
And that's the only song I remembered from there, because that was the time period when I was old enough to go. And that's the only song I remembered from Carousel of Progress until, I don't know how many years ago when I went back to Disney again, and the song was different. I was like, why don't I remember the song different? That was 6 years ago. I should have looked it up back then, but I only did it this past week. So then for a stretch of years until like 94, where they rebranded and refixed and refurbished all of Tomorrowland, got a big facelift, and they decided to change Tomorrowland from predicting what the future is to making it more of failed future predictions from the past, which is much more interesting because they put all that hokey shit up there that you thought in the 60s. Like, remember Warning, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
What's that show?
Lost in Space, yeah.
The original pilot episode was based in 1999.
Yeah, I know.
With this horrible saucer, and they were flying from the moon. It was horrible. So that's what Tomorrowland became. They changed the song from Now Is the Best Time back to Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow.
Right.
So I had no idea. I'm like, I knew I wasn't insane. I knew that song existed, and then I found it. I'll have to play it before we come out of break.
That's one of those beloved rides where they've talked about closing it multiple times,
and people go nuts.
And people go nuts, like riot in the streets, crazy for that ride. And some people hate it. I know people that only go on that ride to get out of the heat and to take a nap for 25 minutes. I love it because it's nostalgic, ridiculous.
Some people hate it because they think it's cornball vaudevillian style.
It is,
stuff, right?
But that's what makes it so great.
That's why I love it.
Yeah.
But my dad's one of those people. He was upset about that because he loves that ride. Because again, he would go in there for half an hour in heavy air conditioning and sleep.
That's it.
While we, then go back out.
That's why
there.
you go to the Hall of Presidents. No one cares about the Hall of Presidents.
Why I used to go to the Museum of Television and Radio in New York City, because when it's pouring rain, I'll go into like their big Auditorium 3 and I'll watch the best of the Jack Benny show. I'm fine because I'm drying out.
Yeah.
I'll take a nap, and then 2 hours later I'll go back into the city and do what I need to do.
There you go.
Right. The fridge and the truck were the things that I remembered from the CES.
Funny.
But Gittles had something, and I remembered it once he told me about his take about everything he saw coming out of CES.
Well, two things quick. I picked up like a freelance job that for 2 weeks here, where I'm just like editing some videos, and the company I was working at on the second day had a big debut at CES, and they had actually one of the top products there, which was a new high-tech treadmill. And so that kind of made a little bit of a wave there. But and it's like a really high-end treadmill. It's got a built-in like 42-inch screen where you have all these like classes you can take, and it's got like an incline. It's all this like super like high-tech techie stuff. But a lot of the articles I was reading about CES was basically saying that it was a bunch of robots that didn't work. And it was people sitting there being like, the future is robots. And someone said, show me the future robot. And they said, oh, the robot fell down. It's not working. This product doesn't work. Like, sorry, this is just a prototype. So it seems like everyone's like either really trying to like go hard into like this robotic thing where they're just like throwing anything out there and they're like, this is what we got. And if you like it, maybe they'll go into production for it. I don't really know. But a lot of the things there seemed I don't know, like kind of crappy robots. Someone compared it to the girl Simone who builds all the robots that just don't work. And she builds them as like life-saving devices. She's like, oh, I took this one to brush my teeth, and then he goes to brush her teeth and like cuts a cat's head off. And it's like basically like that.
That's hilarious.
So I don't know too much about like the rest of the stuff that was there, other than the hilarious articles, and you can find them all. They're all out there. It's basically it's a bunch of broken robots.
Well. Go ahead, because if you have some CES, I was going to kind of change it.
I'm going to transition from something, but go ahead. You go.
So it's funny that you brought up robots, because I was talking about robots a lot in the past couple of weeks, especially with the debut of the trailer for Battle Angel. I don't know. Have you seen that yet? The trailer for that? So a lot of people thought the trailer looked pretty cool. A lot of people hated it because they hated the way Battle Angel looked with the big eyes and all that shit. And I said, yeah, but I think she's supposed to be like the movie takes place in a society where robots are a big part of the society, and I don't think she's supposed to be like the kind of robot that blends in. Like, I think it's supposed to be obvious that she's a robot, and so the big exaggerated features are part of her robotics. I saw the Battle Angel trailer on a big screen. Not just my TV, not just like my computer screen.
Was it in front of Star Wars?
It was. Yeah, the second time I saw it, it was in front of Star Wars. The first time,
that's where I saw it.
It looks so much better on a big screen than it did on like a computer screen. So I know it's completely off topic, but not really, because it's robotics. So I'm just saying, if you have trepidation with the Battle Angel trailer, try to see it on a big screen. It might change your thoughts on it a little bit. That's all. All right. You had something you wanted to do.
I know very little about Battle Angel, other than I've had people tell me that's one of their favorite. Is it an anime?
It was a manga and then an anime, and it's been what's his name's pet project for like 20 years. He's been trying to develop this thing. Not Cameron. Is it Cameron? No, it's not Cameron. It's
I don't think so. Hold on.
Who's the director?
Could be James Cameron. He's taking forever with Avatar.
Oh, fuck Avatar.
Yeah. No, it's not James Cameron. It's somebody else. I can't remember. It's been someone's pet project for a really long time.
Right.
And is it Spielberg? Maybe, and it's been in like just development hell, and I think Robert Rodriguez is tied to it now.
I saw his name.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of excited. For
Look that up. But I've heard people.
Gittles is looking it up now.
I've heard people always say Battle Angel is great. You got to see it, and I've never. Look, I know there's that one website, like, was it called Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll, yeah.
No, it's directed by Robert Rodriguez.
It is
produced
Rodriguez.
by James Cameron.
Okay, so it was a Cameron pet project.
Screenplay by James Cameron.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
So you were right. People always say you got to see it. You'll really enjoy it, even if you're not a fan of the genre. It's really good. It's not like Ghost in the Shell. So I said, okay, I want to do it, and I just never made my way over there to watch it. But now the movie's coming out, so I'm interested to see with fresh eyes, since I know nothing about the franchise other than there's Pops available. I would like to go and check it out.
You know what? You bring up Crunchyroll. I've been really debating whether or not to get a Crunchyroll account. I know there's promo codes where you get like a free month or something.
Loot Crate used to have a bunch of... Was it Loot Crate? Loot Crate or Nerd Block? One of the two used to... Every month had the thing for Crunchyroll.
If there's a listener that has one of those promo codes that they're not using, hit me up and hook me up. But there's a bunch of stuff that I like. I really want to watch.
Matt OG on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, no, Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, sorry. I should know that.
I really want to check out My Hero Academia, which I've heard really good things about.
I don't know.
And there's another one called Food Wars.
That I heard about.
That I've heard really good things
Wars?
about. Food Wars. I watched the first episode, and that first episode is about a kid working in a restaurant, and his father is like this like well-known, like ramen chef or whatever, and he's trying to impress his dad, and they have these like food battles, but like in anime fashion, it's like exaggerated over the top, and like there's like food flying everywhere, and it's like hypersexualized and hyper violent and like
awesome,
like flashing. The first episode had me hooked. I was like, all right, I kind of want to watch this. So I think Crunchyroll is only like $6 or $7 a month.
Right.
You could watch a lot of stuff for free if you don't mind commercials, but it's like $6 a month, I think, commercial free.
So is it like an anime service, or what is Crunchyroll?
It is an anime
sounds delicious.
service. That's what it's an anime service. And
okay.
It's like the Netflix of anime or the Hulu of anime. They have like thousands of titles that you can watch through their service, and for like $6 a month, you get them like ad and sponsor free. Wow. It's not bad. So I think I might actually pull the trigger. But if someone has one of those codes, hook me up. Hook a brother up.
Another side road conversation to have with you real quick, and I want to finish up with CES and move on.
Okay.
For Christmas, I gave you a gift.
Yes. Which gift was this?
I gave you the
very next day,
the ramen subscription box.
Yes.
So I hadn't heard anything from you. I've been very curious because I know that ramen is your thing. And what it is it's just like any subscription box, except this comes with different styles of ramen from Japan. It's like Japan. It's actually from the people from Japan Crate, where it's just ramen and those styles of foods and stuff you add with it or complement it.
Right.
I gave you one of their mystery boxes, and I didn't hear from you about what was in it. Have you tried anything?
So the bad news is no, I have not tried anything yet, and I'll tell you a reason why. The good news is nothing in there is perishable. So
all right.
It's all noodles, right?
Yeah,
like
it's all noodles and
stuff
like that. So what happened was I saw you a couple days after Christmas is when you got it to me. I went away immediately following that for a week, and then I came back, and it's just been I feel like I haven't cooked at home in a month.
Right.
Like I had a HelloFresh box that I had tried, so I ate that, and then like I was away. I was at my parents', and I was away in upstate New York, and so I have it though. It's actually in my kitchen waiting. So I'm probably going to use it this weekend for the first time, and I will let you know.
Yeah, please let me know.
I'll post stuff about it on social media.
Throw it up on your social media, and then we'll repost it for
for
show
sure.
stuff. We'd love to see it.
I want a ramen box.
All right. Well, look. Our birthdays are all coming up.
It's true.
When we get this show back on a regular network, it's going to be awesome because February is just going to be nonstop birthday month.
Yeah.
Every day because Giddle starts it off.
Right.
You're in the middle and I end it.
There you go.
So, we'll just have to do a whole month of
party all month long.
Birthday surprises, and listeners will have to just keep calling us saying happy birthday and sending us gifts.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Amazon wish list.
Well, Giddle's birthday's coming up, so if you want, I can get you a ramen box
there
if that's
go.
what you want for your birthday.
Sure.
All right, fine. You're not getting anything. Then. Forget it. I actually have an early birthday present for you. I just remembered. I got to go grab it and give it to you. We'll do that in the next segment. But to round up the CES stuff, so what Giddles was saying about the robot failures everywhere, the big one I remembered was Google. They were doing their next generation of the Google Home. And I forgot what the female name that they call it now.
Yeah.
He tried and tried and tried in several different presentations.
And couldn't get it to
Not
work?
just the one where he was doing it. There was different parts of the presentation where it was featured like you can use it for this way, you can use it for this way. And each time he tried to access that thing, it barely worked.
Oh, no.
It was not acknowledging him. And he's the guy who's the face, I guess he's the face or the voice, at least for the company at CES. Forgive me for if I don't remember his name. Everyone out there probably screaming at me. But he's out there and he's trying to get this thing to work, and it's not working. And one news clip I saw, it's Like a pool feed, like
Sure.
at the White House, they have one camera on whoever the speaker of the president's aide or whatever is giving out the information. That pools to all the networks, so you're all getting the same camera shot and what have you. That's what it was in CES. But at one point when it's not working, you see a close-up of him and talking to the product there. It's not working. It just does, like somebody hit the wrong switcher and told the camera guy to readjust the shot. It just pulls completely back to the back part of the hall that they're in.
That's hilarious.
You just see the dark crowd with him lit up stage with there trying to talk to the thing, and just this wide shot of the audience. Just there's nothing.
Yeah,
nobody's laughing.
It's a big screen
if they were laughing or booing and throwing stuff, it would have been great, obviously for us. But nothing. Dead silence, and he's standing there on a stage, and it's like doing a stand-up comedy and nobody laughs at your stuff.
Oh, that's awful.
So look for the clips on there. But that Google Home thing it did not do good.
El Bamo.
Let's see, yes. But
He just throws down a smoke bomb and leaves.
Continuing on with Google, Matt wanted to talk about the arts and culture update that's been going on.
So I'm sure both of you have seen this. I have not done it myself, but it's the one where you take oh, you did it. That's right. I saw you did it today or yesterday, right?
Close.
Yeah, yours was not bad. So you take a selfie, and this Google Arts and Culture, is it a separate app?
It's a separate app that you get through the Google Arts and Culture, and then it has like a whole thing. And when you take the picture, it matches you with like 5 different pictures, and you can pick which one you think is like the closest lookalike. I feel like if you did it, you'd get the same guy I got.
I should try it. I'm going to try to download the app now.
Why does everyone keep showing up as Rasputin?
Is it just it's the Google Home and Culture app is what it's called?
Yeah, just type in Google Arts on your Google store, and it'll come right up.
Okay, so
it's actually like a pretty cool app because it tells you all about the different museums. It's a really good app for like other things other than this selfie thing.
Right. So it's you take a photo, you take a selfie, you submit it through the app, and it like instantly gives you a couple of photos, like Giddle said, of 2 like historic paintings from like, from the older, I've seen like pre-Raphaelite stuff and like, like that type of painting, right? So I was listening to NPR on the way here tonight, and apparently in Illinois and Texas, it's blocked because they have privacy laws that they have some sort of weird privacy laws that they're trying to enact right now that kind of dictates how these companies can use information that they gather from you without proper like notification to you. Now, when you use the app says that they're only going to use this photo for this instant. They immediately, they only store the data for the length of time it takes for them to do the search and give you the output.
Right.
But Google apparently is being overly cautious with it because they're also currently litigating in both of those states, trying to overturn it. And I just thought it was fascinating. And my personal opinion
I still don't understand that. Like,
So-
what's in? You're comparing art photos. What's in there that's causing a problem?
They're saying that Google is going to take your image and use it for nefarious purposes.
Right, they're
but they
gonna-
don't have like any proof. It's
okay.
like that kind of a thing.
But it's not just this. So it's not just the Google app that is blocked. They have a bunch of different
then this
services blocked.
This falls into the same category of people being suspicious about the Echo,
Right.
where we're giving it to you at a cheap price or giveaways, whatever, to put in your house, but then we can use it to eavesdrop on you.
But here's the thing, like, I get what these laws are trying to do.
Which, by the way, I look forward to my Facebook wall, wall showing me all the stuff that we've talked about on tonight's show.
On tonight's show,
Yeah.
But I appreciate what the laws are trying to do, but I actually see it as, I think it's government overreach, because I honestly think that if you want to use those types of apps,
Right.
as long as you are aware of what they're doing with the data, or they give you that disclaimer, I think you should be able to use the app. Like, I don't want my state telling me that I can't use these types of apps or devices.
Yeah, that's
weird.
that
you can't override it.
I want it's my content. It's my data.
Yeah.
I understand they're trying to protect me.
Right.
I get that. And what I think they should do is they should make sure that these app companies are putting in a disclaimer. That I'm fine with.
Do you think the government is using the guise of saying, well, not everybody either knows about this or doesn't read that whole huge terms of agreement thing before they accept it. But, so they're trying to be like a watchdog kind of thing.
But here's my problem with that. That's on you.
Yeah, I know.
That's on you, the end user.
It's always a weird balance.
If you choose not
is a
to
corporation
read it,
going too far and taking too much advantage of you, or is the government going too far and taking too much of advantage of you?
I think it's a government overreach, in my personal opinion.
But also, like, to me, like, if that's your concern, then why not just block Facebook and every other app like program in those states at the same point? Because you're still putting your stuff online.
I agree 100%. Like I agree 100%.
I don't know. I think it's kind of stupid. I know, like, the first thing I thought, too, when I saw that app, I'm like, oh, they're going to steal these pictures and, like, use it for something. Because I remember there was, like, a face thing, like, 2 years ago that came out. And it was another thing where you take your picture. And then it came out that, like, they were storing all the images. And I think that's where these things in Texas and Indiana or wherever you said it was, like, were born. So I don't know.
Imagine
nothing is safe anymore. Who cares?
They take your photo. Right? Remember how, and that's still going on to this day, where on MySpace, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Twitter, where people steal pretty girls' photos.
Oh, of course.
Right? It's either it could be a regular girl that they go through your Facebook thing and they take all your photos so they can make an account to look like they're the real person.
Right.
Or it could be like a cosplayer or our friend Stephanie Manescu.
Yeah.
Her stuff, she constantly posts on her social media when there's fake accounts pretending to be her under different names because they steal all her photos, whatever. It's like that situation. It will be great to see if Matt or Gittle's photos show up in like a Facebook banner ad for some shitty thing that's going to be available on Amazon or something like that. It's like,
I hope so.
I enjoy this product.
No matches found. I am not culturally acceptable. I just took a selfie.
Dude, you look like an evil baron.
Well, nope. It said no matches found. So there you go.
That's funny. I tried it with the Mr. Robot mask on, and it said no matches found.
I'm just gonna Photoshop next to you a photo of Gargamel.
There you go.
But the thing is, like, you can kind of like fuck with it a little bit because I have these white curtains in my room, and I put them on my head like a hat, and it gave me all different pictures. Like, and the pictures had people wearing hats and stuff. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, here you go. I got some reactions now. What was yours? Do you remember what yours was?
Yeah, hold on. Let me look it up.
Henrik Pontoppidan, 71% match. Adrian Stokes, that's the second one. Ooh, here's you go. The Home Guard.
The chick from Rocky?
There you go.
I got Retrato de Ignacio Marino. I got this guy.
There you go.
They just matched you because the guy has a beard and a mustache.
Yeah, and no hair. That's profiling. I'm being profiled.
Yeah, you are, and like normally filed, and like all the files.
Yeah, all the files.
From 7.
That's the number one match for me, though. Can you see that?
My God. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's the number one match for me. That's apparently who I.
That looks like the guy from West Wing.
I look like Rasputin. Like I'm about to kidnap Princess Anastasia. All right. Anyway, this app is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right,
I just got this one too. Look at this guy.
There you go.
Is that Crying Velvet Jesus?
No, it's King David playing the harp. And then I got Man with Cat. I do not look anything like Man with Cat.
You are Man with Cat, Giddles. Face it.
I'm gonna do. My luck, I'll do it, and it'll show up one of the guys from like Guess Who?
Yeah.
Or Clue.
Colonel
That'd be great.
E-Rock looks like Colonel Mustard.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some. We got some TV updates for you, some video game stuff. I have an announcement about something that's going to be coming to the show, which I'm very excited about. Maybe even talk about some of the prospects for this show in the future. Also, in the third segment today, we're going to play an interview that we did back in 2014 with a gentleman named Hugh Wilson, who was the writer and creator of a show called WKRP in Cincinnati. He was also pointed out to me that I didn't know people watch this movie called Guarding Tess. He was the president.
Oh, okay.
Same guy. So, but anyway, I knew him from creating WKRP in Cincinnati. Sure. I was a big fan. They just put out the new box set where they got all the music clearance,
right,
to use because the show used real songs
because it was in a radio station,
right? But they didn't have those terms of for agreements and stuff and royalties for syndication and box sets, because this was the late 70s.
Sure.
They didn't think that far ahead. So they tried putting out the first season, and it was all like sound-alike music, and it just sounded it was, the editing was horrible in it. And they never proceeded putting the rest of it out until they got the clearances. Put out the box set. We got to talk to Hugh. Unfortunately, this week he passed away. So we're going to replay that interview at the end of the show so you can hear all about that, because we talk about the popularity and stuff going into WKRP in Cincinnati, and then some other fun things. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
It's Erik Nagel. Eric, Matt, I think Giddles is in there too. Anyway, the show will be right back.
Attention. Shameless social media plug.
It's Erik Nagel is on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and reluctantly, Snapchat. So follow, like, and subscribe. Would you kindly? We're back with It's Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. That is me. That is Matt OG.
Hello.
And in the upside down is Giddles. And
now I'm underwater.
You're a Murloc from Warcraft.
You can find Giddles featured in the new Aquaman movie that will be coming out.
Yeah.
His character is listed not Aquaman.
Drowned body number 2.
Welcome back to the program here. Some updates to give you about stuff that's going on with the show, which I'm very excited about. So I don't have information that I try to keep everybody updated as far as, since we left Sirius, what I've been doing, what's going on. Problem was in the last few months was when it was an unfortunate time to leave Sirius, because a lot of the companies were in their fourth quarter.
Sure.
And that money's already spent. That's going into holidays and all that other stuff. So you got to wait for the first quarter budgets to come around when they can open up and start doing things again. But which we are in right now. We're in the quarter one for corporate America. So had a lot of meetings again. I mean, I had so many meetings in the last 4 months, and that's not to say, make false accusations and accounts that, we're doing I literally met with every single company and the higher ups or whatever. And now we're back for the initial round of trying to place this show somewhere or for me to find stuff. So there's a couple of companies that seem very interested in. I had a meeting this week with one of them, and that looks like it could be the way to go. And then there's another company next week that now came to the table that we're going to talk to. So there's some prospects going on. Of course, as we get the information, I'll let you know. But do not let your heart be soured by the fact that what is he doing? He's not doing anything. No, believe me, it takes a lot of work to not work right now. A lot of hustle going on. So there's some news coming soon, hopefully, with that. The other thing is we're going to have an addition to the show. We signed a new deal, and it's official that we have now did a new partnership with Game Informer.
Oh, nice.
Where our buddy Brian Shea is now going to be doing official updates and stuff for the program.
Oh, sweet.
Not just
that's great.
not where he's been, and Game Informer's been great over the whole history of this show.
Absolutely.
And Brian's always come on to talk about new stuff going on, be it the video game conventions or new updates, whatever. He's always been gracious with his time, and the audience loves Brian. I love Brian. Yeah. But now we're going to do it in more official capacity, where he's going to record segments for us. It'll be all produced all nice and shiny, whatever, and he'll do official Game Informer updates for the program.
That's fantastic.
So you'll see great. As weeks go forward, and then we get everything together, we go to break, we'll have updates, Brian takes over and then does his thing with Game Informer and what have you.
Sweet.
So it's great to have that relationship, and even more so with Game Informer, with Brian Shea, and I was very excited about that, so I figured you guys would be as well. Let's move on to TV and movies and whatnot, because Giddles was sick watching programs that may or may not have been real in his delusional state. I've been catching up on some things and some video games. So where do you want to go from here? Do you want to go?
No, go with Giddles.
Giddles, what do you got?
So things I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I will put that out there. I started watching the new season of Critical Role, which is a D&D podcast / video cast, and it is one of the best video series you'll watch. It's all professional voice actors who do a lot of the voices for cartoons and Overwatch, and they run these D&D campaigns that are just hilarious, just a lot of fun. Definitely recommend checking out Critical Role. The new Tom Segura special on Netflix is very funny. Highly recommend that.
I can't wait to see that because I follow Tom.
Yeah.
You need to follow Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Ari Shafir. Because they constantly are doing stuff together.
At it.
Yeah. They're big. I don't want to say it was a stunt, but they all three of them went through it. And they did Sober October, and every day they had to do like 15 hot yogas through the month, and then while being sober. And Joe Rogan was supposed to be a part of it, but he said, "Fuck off! I'm not stopping to smoke weed." So he really wasn't doing a whole lot with it. He was there for moral support. Right, but you follow their accounts, and they're all interacting with it. Bert does amazing promos. If you don't follow his Instagram, you're really losing out because
Bert's hilarious too. His specials are great.
He'll show up like there's one thing you just see the camera's locked, and you just see a pool, and all of a sudden he does like almost like a Bo Derek emerging from the pool or the ocean kind of thing, where slow motion where water's coming down, and he'll go, "Hey, San Antonio, Bert Kreischer here, the machine. I'm coming out to your..." And you're like, these promos are ridiculous. There's parts where he's just walking around his house naked and his kids are freaking out. And he's very creative. But anyway, so with Tom Segura, they all interact with each other. They were doing a weight loss challenge where they were having each other's fan base call the other one fat. So it was Fat Bert versus Fat Tom.
It's definitely brought up in the special, the weight loss challenge.
Yeah. So,
all right, I'll seek that out. That's on the Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's really funny. It's like maybe like an hour and 10 minutes. It's really good. It's not like too over the top where you're like, oh, this is like a little too like raunchy if that offends you. But I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And there's other specials are on there too, and they're just as good.
All right, I'll check
Definitely
that out.
recommend those. And then I watched a lot of the Overwatch League because, as everyone knows, I'm a big Overwatch fan, and they started an esports league where it's like professional. There's like different countries that have their own teams, like United States has their own team, and they had 10 million viewers live in the first week watching it. So it's definitely picking up steam.
How often do they play?
This was like only the first time they did it. Like it was announced at BlizzCon, and then they started it last week, I believe. I think it's still going on right now. They're in probably close to the quarterfinals or so.
Oh, okay.
But
I've been meaning to watch this because I like playing Overwatch, not to the level that Giddles plays, and I'm nowhere near the level of anywhere being competitive with it. But I like watching. I knew this was coming out, and then I heard it was out, and I kept forgetting to Google how do you watch the damn thing. So when Giddles was telling me before the show, he's been watching it. I said, I'm so dumb. It's so easy for me to Google to find out where to watch it, and I still have not done it.
Yeah, well, Giddles was saying you could watch it through your Overwatch game if you have the game. I know it's being streamed on Twitch.
Oh, it's all over Twitch, yeah.
Because I saw it on Twitch.
People will stream it from Twitch on YouTube where they'll co-op the feed and be like, oh, we're watching this live here. And they're doing like a really like crazy thing with it, like where it starts off and when Overwatch League started, they gave every single person who has Overwatch 100 credits where they could buy skins of their favorite team. So they could like represent their characters in your own game, which I thought was kind of cool. But it's like you watch these people playing Overwatch League and you're like, I am not good at video games and I will never be good at video games. These people are just like, oh, headshot, 6 people like running out of fire. Like it's insane.
How many people are on a team?
6 people team. 6v6.
So it's 6. So the USA has 6 people from the US.
Oh there's like New York, there's Boston.
Oh,
there's
okay.
So like each country has like its own like league type thing.
Okay, and are they eventually going to do like the Overwatch Olympics?
I think so. Well, it's kind of interesting because you'll watch a team. It's like, hey, check it out. It's the Boston. I forgot what the name of the Boston team is, and every single member of their team is from South Korea and doesn't speak English. So it's literally just like, yeah, we got the best. And then you watch the Florida team, and it's literally a bunch of like yokels from Florida, and they're like, yeah, man, we're just playing some Overwatch. Like it's so interesting.
I'm waiting for the Reinhardts to do curling.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's taken off. Like Overwatch it's going to be probably the biggest esport game that's out there right now. It's crazy. And when you watch it, like it's nuts. You'll see someone pick a headshot and you'll just hear thousands of people erupting in the background. Like it's nuts.
I can't wait until we get to the point where with esports where we all have VR consoles and it's going to look you're going to have an avatar of yourself sitting in the stands like at a sporting event.
Oh my God, like the Black Mirror episode.
Like the Black Mirror
with the 15
episode.
million
where you're looking,
Yeah. How great would that be? Like watching Overwatch and that sort of weird
that
VR
means you're trapped in a cell and have to ride
I mean, not all of the parts of the Black
ride
Mirror
a bicycle
episode,
all day
but
for your
that
for
sort
your
of
job.
interaction. That's it's sort of like Ready Player One type shit.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting. It was definitely fun to watch. You learn some cool things. You see how people are really, really good at like team strategies and comps and like how to, kill a guy and then go in and like, take the point. Like it's very interesting. Like definitely worth watching.
All right, I'm going to try to seek it out and watch a little bit of it this week. I'll find it stream because I don't own Overwatch.
It's going to look like crazy explosions too. You're going to be like, well, like it's going to be nuts, but it's fun.
I don't own Overwatch, so I can't get it that way. So I'll have to find a different way to get it. But I'll figure it out.
Yesterday, I saw this news piece about this kid named Aaron Kim, and the only reason it caught my eye is because I went to a school with a guy named Aaron Kim. So I'm like, that's probably a very common name.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Stupid news. Sorry. There we go.
Airwick.
Promotion for Airwick. We are a Febreze or Glade household.
That's it.
So I see the name. I'm like, it's not the guy. But I'm reading the article about him. And it's about this high school kid who got signed professionally into the Overwatch League out of high school for a 6-figure deal.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. They're making huge money because they get sponsorships. They get like controller deals and like apparel deal. It's big money. It's just as big. It's just as big money as certain professional sports at this point.
Yeah,
like not only that, like I just Googled it and like ESPN has like a section on their website for the esports, and it's just like, Overwatch League power rankings based on players.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's big money.
I don't know who signed him. I'm watching CBS News here, the national network feed. It says that he signed this. No, what's his life? I don't know who pays him.
Right.
Who like
it must be a team that has an endorsement deal
or a private investor or something.
It's all sponsorship. It's all just that's what it is. I remember when Overwatch League, it was like a year ago, and Steve Aoki.
I was just going to say that he bought his own team.
He bought a team for like $15 million. There's a lot of money in this.
That's crazy.
You know how people buy those machines to mine Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Steve Aoki has a room where he's mining Overwatch players, where he just goes down. It looks like when Mr. Burns has the monkeys typing in the novel.
Yeah.
He's like, how are we doing here? It was the blurst of times.
You stupid monkey.
But yeah, he bought his own team. It's weird. It's become a big thing now. And look, of course, they're hemorrhaging money because of the deals they made with NFL and other outlets are not generating the profits that they were hoping for anymore. People aren't watching ESPN like they used to. They're sure as hell not watching SportsCenter like they used to. And you see the articles about even though it's the biggest sport by far, the ratings are down for NFL football.
Yeah.
So people aren't watching that as much anymore, even though it blows the other sports away.
And I bet you the advertisers who are advertising on Overwatch League are making so much more money, like hands over fist, than people who are advertising on the NFL. Because it's like, that's a great headset. That's a great mouse. That's a great keyboard. This is this.
They're advertising.
Like these are little tips. These
They're
going to
turn into like those smug poker assholes wearing their sunglasses and their Beats headphones and their Birkin.
They're already there.
But you know what it is?
Stock,
it's a different sort of advertiser base because they're advertising product that you can actually use.
Right.
Not like unlike Coke, like you drink Coke or Bud or whatever it is. But like if you're a gamer. And Gittles is exactly right. Wow, that's a great headphone set. Wow, fucking Viper has a new, mouse out or what? Or not Viper. What is it? Anaconda or what's the
the one that's got like the cool green thing on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
I had Anaconda keyboards and a mouse that I used for when I played WoW for raids. But I had a mouse that had 8 buttons on it. For raids, I had programmable buttons on my mouse because I was a rogue and I did DPS and I had to do certain things quick and it was all programmable on my mouse. It was fantastic.
Matt, don't sell yourself short. You're still a rogue to us.
Well,
Yeah, I was gonna say my buddy got like a brand new computer and he donated me his old WoW mouse and it's the same thing. It's got like 50 buttons on it. I'm like, what are all these buttons do? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Again, if you play that type
even
of game,
so
you
too,
can program
you watch
them,
the Overwatch League and it's like that video card, like this much RAM is good. Like it's just there's so many different products that you can buy that they could advertise that people are definitely going to go out and buy.
Sure. And then, like I said, there's like there's like apparel and like merchandising and Blizzard, the Jinx, I'm sure is involved.
The teams have jerseys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
They're like I don't want to say they're like hockey style, but they don't look
soccer.
like. No, they're like football. Yeah, soccer.
Yeah.
They're like the football jerseys where they're not
football or football.
Football.
Foosball?
Foosball.
Okay.
They're foosball jerseys that they come out there.
Play the foosball.
I want to, if I hit Powerball, we've already talked about
We're buying an Overwatch league.
Well, no, hang on. You're putting the cart before the horse here, my friend. So I always said if I won Powerball, we were starting our own network, and we're set for life. So we'll do these shows till the day we die.
Yeah.
Number 2 was we were going to launch a whale to the moon.
Right.
We're still going to do that.
Nice.
Now we're going to add to this list after helping out
the
St. Jude's Children's Hospital and the ASPCA and those kind of things. We're going to buy our own Overwatch league.
All right.
Okay. They're going to be called the Pin Pals.
Yay!
We're going to have the jerseys made to look like the bowling shirts on The Simpsons.
There you go.
Where it's like the old school joystick controllers.
Yeah.
Where at the top, where the button should be, is going to be their heads. It's going to be hokey as hell, but I am going to
You're doing it.
Mine the shit out of this team at no expense just to be a competitor. Because I have nothing else to do.
That's it. You're bored.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Like I even just on the Overwatch League Twitter from 2 hours ago, Toyota is now an official sponsor.
Yeah.
Like they're one of their biggest sponsors is Toyota.
I'm not
it's
surprised.
amazing where the geeks really
the new Toyota Tracer. It's going to be out in
20. Blink right into a bridge.
That's it.
The term "the geeks shall inherit the earth" from '80s movies, where geeks and nerdy people were picked on and everything.
Oh yeah, no,
because
we've
the jocks and the cool guys, they were like, "Oh, one day the geeks will inherit the earth." They've not only done that, you've also dissolved and belittled the jock culture and all that stuff where you're now wearing football jerseys with your game and team logo as a blatant slap in the face to all those people in that culture while you're gaming. That's what I want to be a part of.
Yeah, with Diva, right? You can have Mountain Dew and Doritos. And
oh my God, all that stuff.
Yeah.
When one guy on the team has to be named Otto.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to sit there and we're going to go during every crucial moment. You can do it, Otto. You can do it, Otto. Go Oregato. Okay, Mr. Roboto.
We need to come up with good sponsors for each player. It's like MetLife is going to sponsor Mercy.
No, we're not going to have the sponsors. The other teams are going to have sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Right?
My apologies.
We're going to self-fund this.
It's all self-funded?
Because we're going to control it.
Oh, okay.
Not the league, our team.
All right.
And if they don't perform well, then we discipline them.
All right.
There might be shot collars. There might be prods. Who knows?
Yeah, all right.
If they're kind of, nodding off a little bit at the keyboard, Gittle's going to walk over there with the cattle prod and get them back online. You can't do that when Coca-Cola and Toyota's on board.
Yeah.
I want to be there like a Russian coach, just like ready to kill somebody if they fuck up.
Gittles should be Bela Lugosi. Not Bela Lugosi. Who was the guy in the 90s that was training the gymnasts?
No, fuck that. I picture Gittles
isn't that guy going to jail right now for molesting all the
that's
gymnasts?
the doctor.
I picture Gittles as Rip Torn from Dodgeball.
Oh, yeah.
If you could dodge a headshot.
Yeah. But apparently, like, Twitch paid $90 million to get the rights to it. So.
I don't doubt it.
Gittles, you're going to have like an Adidas tracksuit.
That's it.
But it's going to be like pale blue with orange stripes, something hideous looking.
Do I have to trim like a cool mustache thing and just chew gum the whole time?
You can be as unshaven as you want.
Nice.
You're going to be in charge of the Ocho.
Oh, our goals.
Which is Spanish for the Ocho.
The Ocho.
our goals are quite important. Well to the moon, buy an Overwatch team.
Right.
It's great.
But look, we also are doing good. We're going to donate to St. Jude's Children's Charities and the Humane Society, ASPCA. All the kids in our lives will have college scholarships.
Fair enough.
Then we're going to take the rest of that Powerball money and we are going to fuck shit up in the Overwatch League.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's you know what? We're going to come in. All these people are taking this seriously as a craft, as a skill, as a genre of business.
Right.
We're going to come in like new money.
That's it. Yeah.
To the world of old money, where there's procedures, there's sportsmanship, whatever. We're Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack, where we're blasting the radio and dancing, and we're fucking this shit up whether we win or lose.
It's a nice head.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to what we watched on television.
Yeah.
I think Overwatch is going to be the promo.
I was gonna say there's your promo.
Any more TV stuff for you, Gittles, or no?
No, that's all I didn't really watch too much stuff. I was just kind of I fall down these YouTube wormholes because like my attention span is like completely shot, where if I start watching something that's like longer, I zone out and then I go back and I get bored. So I just like to watch like shorter videos and stuff like that. I mean, I watched all of the Toys That Made Us, but we're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah, we're going to wait for I do want to talk about it, and people have been writing us about if we saw it. I think you guys have been talking about it too on your show.
We have
about
been,
it. But we want to wait for Randy to be on because
that
he was
creepy
there.
art chair. That's going to be that
creepy art chair was weird. Like when you sent me the text about it, I was like, okay, and then I saw it, I was like, that's uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable, yeah. And it's all you saw. They had like an official response that they put out information, and it's an art. We'll talk about it next week.
Who's the deflating naked woman? Or did she get crippled?
Yeah, this is a Buffalo Bill moment.
She looked like that weed commercial with the kid who's all deflated on the couch.
Yes, that's exactly. Oh my God, that's brilliant. I thought it was a deflated sex doll. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, yeah.
The Letterman interview series started on Netflix. I have not watched it. I've been meaning to. It's one a month.
Nice.
But the first one was with President Obama.
Oh yeah, I did. I watched that too. I forgot about that.
And
I want to check that out.
Apparently, from what I've been reading online, it was amazing.
All right, I want to check that out for sure.
It went over very well. Whether you like the guy or not, whatever your politics are, it doesn't matter. He was still the president of the country.
I thought you were going to talk about Letterman.
Either of them, because Letterman is a bit polarizing to some people. So
he's one of my influences. Yeah. And it is really good. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I definitely want to check that out. There's this other thing I saw an advertisement for on Netflix that I want to watch. What is it called? The End of the World?
The End of the fucking world. It's like FXXXXXing, the blur, the bleeped, the end of the effing world. I guess it's based on a graphic novel, and it looks awesome.
All right, I got to check that out, too.
All right, because I just saw the ads for that. It's supposed to be like a teen drama thing, but it's like a hard MA rating,
right.
So... That's
the trailer I watched, it's about a kid who doesn't like anyone in his high school, so he plans on becoming a murderer because he's a psychopath, and so he's going to murder this girl, but then it turns out that the girl has a crush on him, and the whole story is like whether he's going to go through with killing this girl while they're on a road trip. Like, it looks really crazy.
All right, that sounds cool. I'll check that out.
I definitely want to see that. Over on Amazon, The Tick comes back for season 2 next week.
Oh, I can't wait.
If you haven't seen it, the first, was it 6 episodes?
Whatever. I don't remember.
6 episodes, from the first part of season 1.
Yep.
Is this season 1 or season? No, it's the second part of season 1.
Season 1, part 2.
Okay.
Right.
They announced, I got the stories mixed up because they just announced they commissioned a season 2.
Yeah.
Which everybody's excited about. But you're going to see the second half of season 1 starting next week on Amazon Prime.
Spoon!
Hopefully he says that.
He says it in the trailer.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, that's why I said that to you in that text message. At the very end of the trailer, he's holding up the spoon, and he goes, spoon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that. Oh, my God. I gotta go watch that.
You have to go back and watch it.
Because here's a little insight. Next week, we'll replay the interview we did with Ben Edlin and
Peter Serafinowicz.
And the
sister, I can't remember her name.
She's gorgeous, but she plays Dot on the show.
Right.
When we were trying to do the promos, because when we had Patrick Warburton on,
right,
he did the Tick.
Did Spoon,
he did the whole Tick, the whole 9 yards with the Tick. They were holding back on Spoon because they're like, does he even say that? Do we want to?
Yeah.
They were saving it for their debut instead of our promo, which I will never live that down. No, not good for them. I will never live that down. It should have been done for us. We should have had the jump on it, but we didn't. But I'll try to steal it from the promo now and then work it into the promo. There we go. So that's exciting to look forward to. Go check that out. If you haven't seen it, it's really an amazing show. It's not comic book kiddie like. It's very adult.
It's weird. It's a weird cross. It's a weird cross between the comic book and the animated show. It's like Tick from the animated show with like the setting of the comic book. It's a really healthy balance.
From the late 80s into the 90s was very dark and
serious,
violent, right?
Kind of like the Turtles and the Turtles.
Right, very dark and violent, but like the Turtles, when they got animated to a TV show, it was, we need to sell toys to kids, so you got to soften this thing down.
They both were on the same exact trajectory, both of those properties.
Right. The Tick was part of Fox Kids Saturday Morning, where he had all these goofy characters. Chairface Chippendale. By the way, because that's who I brought up in the interview, and then I heard on your show not too long ago, Kev goes, did they have Chairface Chippendale? So obviously a staple. The evil bomber that bobs at midnight.
What bombs at midnight? Yeah.
The man-eating cow, the human ton. All these weird characters.
And we talk about that in the interview.
Yeah. So it's a combination of the goofiness of the cartoon, where it's the Tick from the cartoon, mixed with the world of the comic book.
Yeah.
So you're getting the best of both, and it's definitely something, if you check it out and give it a chance, you'll enjoy it.
And if I recall, we actually talked to Ben Edlund about Turtles, too, and he brings up Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman and how they were on similar trajectories. It's a good interview. It's definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out the show. So season 1, the first half is up already on Amazon Prime, and season 2 is there. So
look at that. That's a can of faux ham.
Faux ham.
So in the first part of the season, when they go to visit Nightboat, the crime-solving boat,
I love Nightboat.
The guy who lives on Nightboat eats faux ham. He just stole this from like a...
It's like Spam.
Yeah, it's like Spam in a can. It's ham in a can. And this was one of the things that you got when you got to see the Danger Boat exhibit at New York Comic Con.
Right.
You signed in with your badge. You did all the activities on there, and at the end, the machine comes up, it does everything, and then drops out a can of faux ham.
That's
for
awesome.
You. So you see right there, Giddles.
Oh yeah, I remember. I saw the faux ham at the Comic Con.
If you want, their snap code still works.
Oh, nice.
Where it unlocks a tick filter for your photo.
Is it the same filter we unlocked in San Diego when we did the tick experience in San Diego?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can, if you want to do it again. I saved my photo to repro, but it's right there. But faux ham.
That's awesome.
So I'm very excited about that. The Tick. I started watching The Expanse, which I don't know if the show's over. I know it has several seasons.
I don't know.
But I started watching that on Amazon Prime. It was really good. But the CW shows are back.
Yep.
So
everything but Legends of Tomorrow is not back yet.
All the superhero stuff. Riverdale just came back, which I just watched. That was a great episode to kick off the last half of the season. Nobody saw Black Lightning, I don't think, right?
No, I've heard good things, but...
Yeah. Is Black Lightning going to benefit based on the praise and this thing's not even out yet, but everyone's marveling over marveling over Black Panther about how great that is. Is Black Lightning DC property? Is it going to ride some success with people being excited about a black superhero being prominently displayed in the front?
I'm sure that will help it.
Okay.
I'm sure that the two of them are kind of like a social juggernaut in a weird way. But my interest in Black Lightning is not that it doesn't look good. I actually think it looks halfway decent, but it's not connected to the other CW shows. And halfway decent.
Oh, really?
No, it's its own show, and they specifically don't want it as part of the other CW shows. And I don't know that I have time right now in my life to take on another show that isn't linked to my other show. If it was linked, I'd watch it.
See, that's why I was asking, because I just assumed CW, like, oh, here's the new hero. Here's how he fits into the whole world.
Matt brought this up a while ago, and it does have logic to this. It's going to be a matter of time before all of a sudden they figure out a way to work it in there, because it may not be right. That's exactly what it was, because when Supergirl came out, it was a CBS property which owns the CW, and they were not part of the worlds. And then Supergirl wasn't doing well on CBS Network, so like, we do need to do a Flash crossover, and they did the Flash crossover. Then CBS dropped the show, and CW just took it and has been running and been successful with it, because now it's part of their universe. And the way that they worked it out, as for why she's in their universe, it works.
It's an alternate Earth,
right? And it works fine. Sure. So Black Lightning may do fine on its own, but then all of a sudden they're like, we really need to do if we're going to do that next 4-parter, it really needs to, or a season finale where he shows up on one of the other shows.
Yeah, something. I mean, maybe if they eventually tied in. Look, I think it looks halfway decent. Just halfway decent isn't enough for me right now. It's got to be like mind-blowing, earth-shattering, and I just don't think that it's that. On the other hand, I am fucking excited as all hell to see Black Panther next month. Right. So, but anyway,
I am too.
Yeah.
Movies real quick. There's a movie coming out in a couple weeks on February 2nd that I'm very excited about, and it's for personal reasons. This movie called Winchester. Do you know what this is about?
I have no
about
idea.
the Winchester house, right?
Right. So Winchester is based on the widow of the gentleman who created the Winchester rifle.
Okay.
Now, she multi-millions, like their family's infinitely wealthy. And she has this mansion out in the San Francisco, the Bay Area. The legend is, and you can go see the house in real life.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
People thought she was going crazy, but really what it was is she was claiming that there were spirits haunting her house, and they were all the souls of people who were killed by that rifle.
By the rifle. I do remember hearing stuff about
so
this.
It's a big tourist event tourist place out there. Where I remember going when we were little kids. we went cross country and we went to the Winchester mansion.
Right.
And you can go upstairs that lead to nowhere, cabinets that don't open, doors that don't open. You know, it was all she spent millions and millions of dollars of remodeling this house to confuse the spirits so they couldn't get her.
Yeah.
So this movie is about her. It's about her insanity. It's about the hauntings in this mansion. And when the trailer came out, I was like, oh my God, like, I want to go see this movie.
Sure.
So it comes out February 2nd. I hope it's good. It seems in the vein of Crimson Peak.
Right.
Something along those lines there, except I think it goes a lot further with the violence or the attacks, if you will, than Crimson Peak did. Like, you saw the possessions and the hauntings, not possessions, in there, but it really didn't do anything. They weren't trying to kill people or whatever. Right. But if you should go out and check out the Winchester movie, it's coming out on February 2nd. Other than that, I don't think there's anything really other than I think I, Tanya opens up this week to the nation. I don't really think there's anything leading the rest of the month here that anyone cares about.
Black Panther, that's it.
When is Black Panther?
February 16th.
That's February, but that's not January.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were on. I thought we were on February.
I only just because that's.
No,
February 16th, Black Panther.
Panther.
I'm looking at there, so we got that to go look to, and of course, it's got competition with the latest 50 Shades movie.
I don't think that's my much.
Okay, all right. Any other TV stuff? Oh, one last thing: video games.
Yeah.
I've been playing and I beat it. This game called Thimbleweed Park.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
What this was, it was a Kickstarter game
right.
by the old developers from LucasArts, where they created games like Maniac Mansion, Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, Secrets of Monkey Island. They had a few other properties. They looked almost, they were the original ones, and then Sierra Online came out with Leisure Suit Larry and a few of their games, and kind of bit the same action adventure style where you're clicking the actions of what to do in the game, and you're moving your cursor around to try to find stuff hidden in there. Like, oh, look, that registers. What can we do with that? So they came out with Thimbleweed Park, and it starts off sort of like an X-Files thing where they're investigating a dead body in this creepy small town where nothing's really going on and thing doesn't make sense. But as you go through the game, it gets weirder and weirder. So I beat the game finally. It took me, I've been playing on and off for about 2 weeks, and I realized I'm seeing stuff online. I'm like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, doing that. Didn't realize there's a casual level and a hard level. If you go to the hard level, it opens up all this stuff. I was like, oh my God. So now this is one of the rare times I'm replaying a game because I enjoyed it so much, and it's on sale for like $12 or something on the Xbox Store and PlayStation Network. Can't recommend it enough. If you grew up in the time where you played those action games when they were hidden somewhere on your school library computer where no one was looking, you'd flip on Monkey Island or something like that. Go and check out this game, Thimbleweed Park. It's made by the same people, Ron Gilbert or Roger Gilbert. I forgot his name. I apologize. But you start seeing stuff in the game. They start dropping in the old game into this game, and you have a ton of oh wow moments. Like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming, or thank God they put that in there. So if you're looking for a new game that's not Call of Duty not one of those open world things where like I know people are playing PlayerUnknown Battleground. I just downloaded that too. I've not played it yet, but I know that's become a big thing. Check out Thimbleweed Park. I think you really enjoy it. I think you actually would enjoy it.
I don't know if it's on PlayStation though. I think it's only on Xbox.
It is on PlayStation. I saw stuff online for there's a PlayStation version.
Maybe
of it
finally, because for a while it was Xbox exclusive. So
yeah, I thought I saw some from. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll check.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out too because I like puzzle games. I like games like that where you just kind of have to solve things.
All right, we're gonna take a break here. In the next segment, you're gonna hear our interview with Hugh Wilson. He was the creator of WKRP in Cincinnati. We talked to him back in 2014. He unfortunately had passed away this week, and after that, we're gonna do the plugs and get out of here for the week. All right?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll be right back.
More. It's Erik Nagel. It's Erik Nagel. Next.
A message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
Hey, it's Bert Kreischer, and you're listening to It's Erik Nagel.
Baby, if you've ever wondered Wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP.
I'd like to welcome on the phone right now the creator, executive producer, writer, the guy who pretty much made this happen, Hugh Wilson, WKRP in Cincinnati. Hugh, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. How you doing?
I'm so happy to talk to you, sir. I wasn't really in the demo when the show was on, but didn't stop me from watching as I got older and been obsessed with this show and wound up working in radio.
Well, I hope you're having a good time in radio. I've heard that from a lot of people, that they actually thought about getting into radio because they watched the show when they were kids. So I think that's great.
Yeah, I got a chance to really sit down and watch the show. It was probably after the initial run, which was 1978 to 82. I was watching it in syndication here in New York, and I was just fascinated by the whole thing, thinking that that's how radio worked.
Well, hey, we tried to make it as authentic as possible. I did some things that were not, I still wanted to use turntables instead of cassettes, which were going on at that time. But I think overall, I was always really glad that radio people would say, wow, that's pretty close. And also, we have the same number of nuts at our station as you have at yours.
Right. One thing I have to hand it to you was the attention to detail in the actual control room of the studio, where a lot of shows and movies where they portray radio, a lot of the times they're using the wrong equipment and pretending that it's a radio station. They're using a mixing board from sound recording and, studio sessions, and you're like, that's not how radio's done. They would never use that piece of equipment. Yes, it's nitpicking if you're a radio guy. Most people watching it just don't care, and it really doesn't even faze them. But the fact that you were using the turntables, you had the at the time the pots that were the circular ones, and that Les Nessman ran everything off of carts.
Oh well, thank you. All those actors, as soon as they got the part, they all spread out and went to various stations in L.A. to see what was going down. So it wasn't just me; it was a whole, And we had one of the writers that had worked at a radio station for 7 years, so I had a lot of really good technical advice.
Hugh's on the phone here promoting the WKRP in Cincinnati box set, the complete series, which is great because they only released the first season on DVD for a while, and then that was it. But now you got the whole box set here. It's from Shout Factory. And there was a lot of problems, or a lot of hurdles, I'll say, trying to get this out because of all the releases that you needed for the music that you used.
Yeah, that was a problem. When I first was going to do the pilot, there was a lot of talk about using what they called as sound-alikes. Instead of the Beatles, we'll have like a Beatles-sounding music. And I just said, you know what? I don't think we ought to do this if we're going to use fake music. So I finally got my way and never dreaming that someday that would be what was keeping us off the air, because to relicense that music, but the prices just had gone through the roof. And so 20th Century Fox said, well, the hell with it, we're not going to pay these license fees.
This is also the problem that you had when the show ended its run and was going into syndication. You had to switch the music out even then.
Well, what they did, what 20th did, is they brought out a DVD in, I think, 2006, with the music all chopped up or missing or replaced. And I went to New York with Lonnie, Tim, and Howard, and we were on the Today Show to promote it. And then they took us to a radio studio where we took calls from jocks around the country. And they all called in and said, this product is crap. And I knew right then that this was not going to work.
Now, when you're playing these songs during the initial run, how come you didn't have more guest stars from actual bands and musicians on the show? It seems like it would be something they would jump at the opportunity for.
Yeah, I had Hoyt Axton, whose mother, by the way, wrote Heartbreak Hotel.
Right.
No, we figured they were unaffordable big stars, and also it didn't make sense to me story-wise that they'd be spending any time at a a poorly operated radio station in Cincinnati.
Oh, because I was wondering about the fact that, at the time, some of the big rock acts that you had there, like Alice Cooper and Kiss, would have stopped by to promote their album, as passing through Ohio there.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. I should have thought of that. But I didn't. As a matter of fact, the only band that came by was one I invented called Scum of the Earth.
Right. And one of the guys in Scum of the Earth went on to be a famous character actor. He was the villain in MacGyver.
Yeah. That I can't remember that guy's name. He's a Brit.
Yeah.
And he had been in some rock and roll bands. Wonderful guy. I liked him a lot.
Another thing I wondered about the show is how come you didn't explore different jocks and day parts of the station? Like the weekend guy, the afternoon drive guy. It was just mostly the morning and the late night guy.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Was it just too much story?
Was, and the other thing was that I had this was an ensemble, what they call a gang comedy, and I was having enough trouble servicing all the regulars. So there were some weeks when I'd have to say to one of the actors, you really don't have hardly any lines this week, but I promise that in 2 weeks the show will be all about your character. So doing 23.5-minute shows once a week, with 8 regulars, I sure didn't want to add anybody else to that.
When you launched the show and writing, I think ideally the concept of the station, there was all these people there, but it was supposed to focus around Andy Travis for the show. But as it grew on, it started that everybody else started becoming more important than Andy.
I think that CBS, the only casting they insisted upon is they wanted Gary Sandy as the lead. I don't think they knew that it was quite the gang comedy that I had in mind. And they pretty much let me cast everybody else. And as it went on, I was chasing all these characters. And Gary Sandy was a hugely generous guy. He kept saying, "No, man, I just want to be on a funny show. It doesn't have to be about me." And he was actually having to carry the heavy water because his character was sort of the sane eyes that we viewed the other nutty characters by, and they were getting all the laughs.
Right. Because if you talk about WKRP, people remember Johnny Fever, Venus Flytrap, Herb Tarlick, or Les Nessman. It's usually one of those 4,
Absolutely.
Unless they're talking about how hot Lonnie Anderson was.
Yes. Or Jan Smethers. Over the years, there were, of course, Lonnie was so obviously appreciated by all the guys, but they also thought Bailey Quarters was pretty easy on the eyes, too.
Well, I do have to hand it to you on how cold you kept the studio during certain episodes, sir.
Oh, dear.
I'm talking with Hugh Wilson. Creator of WKRP in Cincinnati. The box set out by Shout Factory. It's out right now. You should go and get it. The WKRP storylines were based in your time in radio, and you say Bailey Quarters was kind of based on your wife. Who were some of the other characters based on? Because I have a question about Andy Travis.
Well, Andy Travis is the name of my cousin. That's where but my cousin was a Miami-Dade policeman, so he was not anything like him. Herb Tarlick was based on my dear friend Clark Brown. Les Nessman was pretty much made up of, I guess, a collection of people. I've never met a real Lonnie Anderson except Lonnie Anderson. The big guy was very much like a wonderful man I used to work for in the advertising business. And Venus Flytrap was pretty much what Tim Reed wanted to make of it. And Skinny Bobby Harper was the morning man, the most popular morning man in Atlanta. He was a pal of mine. And that's where Dr. Fever comes from. But, once Hessman got cast, he had as much to do with the molding of that character as I did.
Now, your time in Atlanta, you were working at WQXIAM, right, Quixie?
And I just really started out as a copywriter, and the way I made my bones is I was a big fan of Stan Freedberg, which your audience probably never heard of, but he did really funny radio. And nobody wanted to write radio ads, so I started writing them, and they became really popular. And radio sales reps would come around and and I became friends with him. And then the bar I hung out in on Peachtree was full of radio people.
Who was Andy Travis based on? Was it based on Scott Shannon?
You know, it might have been. I knew. Do you know Scott?
I know Scott. Yes, I used to work for him.
Yeah, wonderful guy, and he was in Atlanta. He was one of the guys I talked to, who gave me, you know, his opinions and ideas.
Yeah, Scott was the reason in New York City that I really got interested in radio, you know, WKRP as well. But I used to listen to Scott when he hosted the morning show on Z100 in the 80s, and he was pretty much my main drive to actually try to figure out how to do radio as a kid.
Well, he's a wonderful guy, and he had a big impact, and he was in Atlanta. I guess, you know, I mean, he was one of the reasons, maybe, if you've ever wondered what's become of me, is because I knew how guys like Scott would just kept moving and moving and moving. Talking about Rolling Stones.
I know, and he's doing well here in New York City. He's back at number 1.
I'm glad to hear that. Every now and then I hear his name on the radio as Hannity's announcer.
Coast to coast.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time here, Hugh, but before you go, what do you think is the most famous episode out of the run of WKRP?
It would have to be Turkeys Away.
That's exactly what I wrote down.
Yeah, the first year. Yeah, you got that right. I think we had a couple of pretty memorable shows, but that's, I remember TV Guide listed it in the top 50 TV shows of all time. I don't know whether we deserve that or not, but that's the one that people remember. And if I'm somewhere and some stranger finds out who I am and what I did, they're almost 100% likely to say, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Right.
So that'd probably be on my tombstone.
Legendary episode. The first episode I ever got to see of the show was one of the lines that I've never seen my dad laugh that hard at television, was when Les Nessman is doing a sports report and he mispronounces Chichi Rodriguez.
Yeah, that was there was a stand-up comic by the name of Tom Patchett who I worked for at one time on Newhart, and I have to say I stole that joke from him.
Well, there we go. Now, I'm glad that's cleared and out in the open there.
I laughed as hard as your dad did when I first heard it. And this is the first time ever I've admitted to the theft.
Well, that's good to know. It's a great line that is forever in the history of classic television. WKRP in Cincinnati. The box set is out right now from Shout Factory. Go out and get it. Hugh Wilson, the creator, executive producer, writer. There would be no show if it wasn't for Hugh. Hugh, thank you so much for your time. Do you think we'll see a new WKRP in Cincinnati box set anytime soon?
Oh, you know, I didn't have anything to do with that one.
Yeah, you're probably better that you didn't.
I was sort of opposed to it, so I shouldn't talk about that one.
Well, we'll get to that another time, Hugh. Thank you so much for your time. Get the box set from Shout Factory, WKRP in Cincinnati. Hugh Wilson, thanks, man.
I thank you.
Take care. You just heard the interview with Hugh Wilson, creator of WKRP. Godspeed to you, sir. One of my favorite TV shows of all time that got me interested in the radio business and trying to find a career in doing such. Sure. But you know what the music means. Our time is up, so let's go around the room and do the plugs. Matt OG?
Geek Stuff OG across all of social media. BKGeekstuff.com for new episodes of the Geek Stuff podcast. And if you like, you can support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/BKGeekstuff.
All right, Giddles, what do you have?
Gittlebase on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live.
You want to play Overwatch with Giddles and join the league?
I would love to.
Yeah, join me. I just started playing a bunch of Overwatch again because I was starting to get bored with Destiny 2. So,
but I've never played, so I'll be awful.
If you want to play some Overwatch, hit me up.
That's the most fun to play with people who are brand new or who are awful, and you could be both. But when you play with them, it's a lot of fun because you don't know. Everyone takes it so seriously. When you play with people that don't care or are just learning, there's so much more fun to be had when you die or when you accidentally screw up something else in there. There's a lot of fun to be had. Sorry, anything else, Skittles?
No, that's pretty much it. Just, as always, just send me a message if you want to play first. Don't just send me random group invites because I'm not going to join you unless you tell me you want to talk to me.
Right.
I'm not a dick. I will hang out. I will play video games. I just want you to message me first.
That's it. I'm the same way.
For the show here, we have this Linktree thing now that we use where it's linktree.com/It's Erik Nagel, and it gives all the links to everything for this show. Our Instagram accounts, our Twitter accounts, everywhere you want to source the show to listen to or download or stream or whatever, has it all available there. But of course, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff, it's Erik Nagel. For me, eRockRadio on Twitter and Instagram. And I think that's about it. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. I think we hit all the buttons.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, hopefully the return of Randy from NECA Toys, unless he blows us off again to go do some other show. All right. Until next time, be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time.